Hello, hello.
Hello.
Welcome to another week of Case Files.
With Kat.
And Ashley.
Yeah.
So how are things? How are things thinking?
How are things thinging? They're thinging? I don't know. How do I answer that?
Life's happening.
Life is lifing. Life be lifing. Yeah, I'm getting frustrated with my own recovery from my surgery.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I know it. I know it's just the moment. I know that it won't last. I did 3 miles of walking at so you probably doubled that at the new teachers luncheon.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Just in that morning, by the time I left, I had walked almost 6,000 steps.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, I just went from 0 to 60. And so that really, yeah. And then, yeah. So that maybe that was too much.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't have been there the whole time. But yeah, when I was like, I've got to go, I realized oh my gosh, I don't know that I can stand up anymore. So
probably best because we had, I want to say, over 170 door prizes by the time it was all said and done.
Yeah. I would have just been there.
For those who have no idea what the hell we're talking about.
I know.
We're part of a chamber that does a new teachers luncheon.
The best chamber. New teachers luncheon.
And
might say.
Yes. We collect door prizes to give out to the teachers. And we had over 160
it's
prizes.
Awesome. I mean, first of all, teachers deserve all of the money. I mean, I don't know.
Kudos to you if you're a teacher.
100%. Oh my God. Love y'all. And so I'm so glad that we get to do something like that because they get some, I mean, there's there's wine fridges and cleaning for a year, school supplies, seriously.
Yeah.
Really cool stuff. Yeah. We gave beer because, you know, what did we say? Hops and prayers.
Hops and prayers.
Yeah. Yeah. We did that. But yeah, the real school supplies.
Yes.
Beer.
Yeah.
I put some seltzers in there, and
It'll be all right.
It'll be all right. But
I said they'll need it for sure.
Faux show. Anyway, how's your week going?
It's going, man. I'm still, if you listened to last week's episode, I'm still waiting to see the dentist. So.
But at least it's scheduled.
Mm-hmm.
It's a problem with trying to book a popular dentist.
Yeah.
Gotta wait.
I learned the name of the therapy dog on staff. His name's Scout. I'm pretty excited to meet him, honestly. It's the best part of my dentist visit is going to meet Scout.
Oh, man. That's awesome. I like that name. I like it. Okay. Well, what you got for us? I'm so glad it wasn't mine. This is a week I was like, uh-oh, is it my week?
I feel like we both do that every week.
Every week.
So I actually heard about this particular story.
Eat the mic.
I have heard this story actually through something involving Elizabeth Smart.
Oh.
Because she interviewed this woman. And then I was like, oh, well, I want to look up her story. And then I realized it ties in to the story you did last week in the sense of the grooming in children and all of that.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of a crazy story. It's very similar to Elizabeth Smart's story, in a way. So, anyways, I'll just get into it.
Okay. Yeah.
So, as we know, less than 1% of all missing children cases involve strangers.
It's less than 1%?
Yes, I looked that up. Less than 1% of overall missing children cases involve strangers. Typically, it's somebody they know, friends, family, school.
99% of the time, it's someone
Majority
they know.
of the time, it's someone that they at least have met, acquaintances of the parents, some way, somehow. They, you know what I mean? It's not just a random stranger off the street that takes missing children.
That's wild. That's wild. Because we tell people stranger danger, and to me, it's you're abducted when you're walking down the street and someone just picks you up.
For adults, stranger danger 100%. Women can't even walk in parks, you know what I mean? But when it comes to children, it's often someone they know, because kids will trust you, right? Adults don't really trust strangers.
Not anymore. Not if you grew up in the 70s.
According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, a vast majority of missing children involve either runaways or some kind of family custody dispute or somebody they've met through school, church, whatever, that they know. So less than 1% are true stranger abductions.
My God. I mean, you know what?
So my story gets worse from here. Anyways,
oh, God.
Tonight I am going to discuss the abduction and initial missing case of a 14-year-old child that was abducted by someone that she should have been able to trust, someone who should have been a safe person, who should have been a vetted person by their employer. So, yeah.
I hate it already.
I know, I'm sorry. Tanya Cash, now Tanya Cash McCrum, because she's not missing anymore. But at the time, her name was Tanya Cash.
Not Tanya?
No, Tanya.
Tanya.
She was born on October 14th, 1981. And in 1995, Tanya was living with her with her father, Jerry, and his girlfriend, Joanne. They lived in McKeesport? I don't know, Pennsylvania. I looked up every fucking word but the city name. God damn. They lived in Pennsylvania. We're just gonna cut this.
McKeesport?
McKeesport. If you live there, I'm so sorry I'm butchering this. It's a weird spelling. It looks like McKeesport. Like literally that's
MICK?
McKeesport.
McKeesport. Probably McKeesport. I bet it's like that.
You've all left reviews of how annoyed you are by the way I pronounce words. Okay, so
emphasis. No, they haven't. No, they haven't.
On February 10th, 1996, Tanya ran away from the home under the promise of a better life where she could be happy, where she could be safe, where she could be understood. She had been groomed starting 6 months prior to this by a man at her middle school.
Oh.
Now, it was the security guard.
What?
Thomas Hose, 39 at the time, was a new security guard at Cornell Middle School. People would describe him as having a great relationship with the children, gross, joking with them as they went about their school day, high-fiving them as they went through the doorways in the morning.
That's how they are. That's how they are.
They all described him as being like someone that they could talk to, that was a friendly face when they arrived to school. One of those children that he gave attention to was Tanya. Tanya had just started at this school. She was having a real hard time adjusting. She didn't have any friends. She was the target of bullying. Oh. And then at home, she was not getting along with her father's girlfriend. It was just a lot for a 14-year-old. As we've discussed, you already know when you're 14, the whole world is just awful.
Awful. And your hormones and everything is
and just not having any friends, starting a new school, like it's just a lot.
That makes me so sad for her.
So Tanya began going to Thomas for life advice. She would complain about her home, her school life, and as we discussed last week in Kat's story, that's exactly what groomers are looking for. People who are vulnerable, people who are having problems at home, because then they promise you, oh, I would never treat you that way. Oh, they just don't understand you like I do, right? And so he started this 6 months before she ever left home.
They do that even if they are happy, because remember, he wasn't an unhappy kid.
Yeah, but that's what they look for, someone who's
going to believe him. Mm-hmm.
So she said, Tanya said in a People magazine interview at one point, we started to get to know each other more. He would take me out of class just to talk to me.
Oh, God. Why was that allowed?
Soon, as you can guess, this mentorship turned into something very, very, very much worse. The two became sexual. Tanya, who was 14, and Thomas, who was 38.
Oh, my God.
It started with Thomas kissing Tanya under the stairwell while she skipped class one day. He basically had pulled her out of class. She was skipping class. They were talking. He just went for it, and, you know, it happened. So after about 6 months, Thomas suggested that Tanya should come live with him. On February 10th, 1996, Tanya made it to the 2 miles from her home, 2 miles down the street. That's it, where Thomas was living. Now, her father did not report her missing until 4 days later because he said, and I quote, Tanya used to run away all the time and return the next day, so I just assumed that's what this was. And he didn't start getting nervous until she didn't come back for 4 days. She's 14. Didn't even try to find her. Anyways.
This is, okay. I won't do it again. I know I won't. Oh, but
you might.
My God. I just.
Wait to hear what the parents do later.
Okay. Oh, Jesus. Does everyone have a drink? Because we're, this is one of those stories. Like I'm so stressed out. I just want to be yelling and cussing.
I'm sorry.
I know. This is okay. I'm so sorry. Please proceed.
What she thought was going to be a new life became a nightmare. Thomas had created an entire plan this entire time to get Tanya to leave her home for good. When she left and arrived at his home, he took her to his friend Judith's house, and Judith was a hairstylist. She knew exactly what was happening. She would dye Tanya's hair to make her less recognizable in public.
This is an adult.
A friend of Thomas's, an adult woman.
Knew exactly why she was doing. Oh,
and for several weeks, Tanya would live at Judith's house, where Thomas would visit her, and they would do things. I don't think I needed to describe those things. I think we can all conclude. So Judith was very much aware of what was happening.
Was Tanya still going to school at this point, or she unenrolled? She
Honestly,
unenrolled. She dropped out.
I think she dropped out because he was basically, and I'll get to that in a minute. She was his captive.
So she's a captive in Judith's house.
This is
not his, but she's not going to school.
So at this point, she left her house on February 10th on her own. She goes to Thomas's house. He immediately takes her to Judith's house. So she's living there for several weeks. It's in February, so it could have been spring break maybe at this time. Maybe, I don't know. It's different places. Yeah. But anyways, no, I don't think she was going to school. And I say that based on what we talk about shortly. So eventually, Thomas got Tanya drunk and raped her for the first time. And then eventually, he would relocate her to his house. Thomas would lock her away in a spare room on the upper floor of his house. Tanya would beg to be released, and he would threaten her life and the lives of her family members on a daily basis to scare her into submission. He would tell her that if his parents ever found out she was in the home, he would smother her to death.
If his parents?
Yes, I'll get to it shortly. I promise. The conditions in which Tanya was forced to live were described as grim, and that was to put it very mildly. She was forced to memorize floorboards so not to alert the other people in the house. You heard that right. Other people were living in the house the entire time she's in captivity. The entire time she's living with him. Thomas lived in a house.
Hell?
He lived in a house with his elderly parents and his son.
What? How old is his son?
I'm assuming young because they didn't mention him by name, and usually, that's when it's a minor. But
I mean, he could have been he could have been 18 and lived there. I mean, he was 38. So, I mean, the kid could have been 18. He could have, or 17, like that's crazy.
So I did try to look it up, like how old the son was, but nothing like the media reports and public records and stuff, none of it listed his son's age.
They probably didn't want to. The mom was probably like, "Don't connect me."
Yeah, but that's why that's why I assume he was a minor, just for the simple fact that he wasn't involved in any of this, and nothing would report his name. So they're trying to protect him. Would be my guess.
Okay, for sure he wasn't involved though.
For sure, for sure. Other than Judith, Thomas is the only one involved in this situation.
Fucking Judith.
And after she left Judith's house and moved in with him permanently, Judith was out of the picture.
Never saw him again. Never saw her again.
She wasn't involved in anything else because Tanya never was allowed to leave the house.
She just
when
helped.
She moved to Thomas's house. She was there. She wasn't allowed out of her room.
Oh.
So again, in this house where Tanya is being held captive at the age of 14, we're only a few weeks in, but his elderly parents live there. His son, who again I can only assume is a minor, also live in this house. They had absolutely no idea she was there. Thomas would go through these great lengths to keep her hidden. She was only allowed to shower once a week, and it was while everyone else was sleeping. He would go and get her once everyone else was asleep, take her directly to the bathroom where she would shower, and immediately return her to her room. She was only allowed to use the bathroom in a bucket, which was kept in the locked room. She was only fed his leftovers from dinner. Excuse me. Thomas would begin sexually abusing her multiple times a day, and he would make her document these incidences, like the details of each assault, in a journal, and I am quoting here, so he could brag to coworkers and friends. So these people knew about it and didn't report him, I guess. I don't know, but that he made her journal her sexual assaults in detail so he could brag to people about it. It was actually some of the biggest parts of the evidence against him later on.
Oh my God.
In a Today.com interview.
I like not showering and then being raped multiple times a day and not
and having to journal the details about it.
Yeah, exactly, Louie. I didn't like that. Oh my God. Support Katie.
So,
come here.
In a Today.com interview, Tanya said the journals were his idea. Yes,
so
they were real. I had to keep track of everything. They're still in evidence today in downtown Pittsburgh. There's a whole box down there, she added. I always wanted the box of whatever evidence they have because I want to burn it all.
Burn it.
Tanya did try to escape several times. It was more than once. However, each time it failed and he scared her into staying. He would say, whenever I tried to, that's when he threatened my life. She told reporters in an interview. She said, he'd threaten to kill me in my sleep, throw me in a garbage bag, and then throw me in the river to die.
Oh my gosh. And the fact that she wasn't like, okay, do it, geez, yeah. What kind of,
For the next 4 years, back up. The only way Tanya could pass time was by reading magazines, watching TV with a headset, and listening to the radio with a headset. She noted that the saddest memories were always around Christmas time. In an article in Medium, she said, I spent 4 Christmas Eves in a closet, and I hear them opening presents and laughing and having fun downstairs. And I would sit there and think of my family and think of other people around the world and what they were doing at that moment. For the next 4 years, Thomas was the only person Tanya would consistently see.
Oh my God.
When Tanya turned 18, Thomas introduced her to his family as his live-in girlfriend named Nikki Diane Allen. After this introduction, Tanya was free to roam around the home rather than being locked in the room. However, he still threatened her. He would still tell her he would kill her family if she tried to leave, or if she told his family that it was that she was being held there against her will or whatever.
Weren't they like, don't you ever want to go outside?
Over time, Thomas would start giving her a few more freedoms. Mind you, this entire time that she's been missing for 4 years at this point,
Yeah.
her family was literally 2 years down the street, or 2 miles down the street. I can't imagine.
So they reported her missing, right?
4 days after she went missing.
Okay, so then,
but they weren't doing searches for her. They weren't like actively, like some stories we do, the families are like actively looking.
Yeah.
No.
So there wasn't even like missing posters or anything like that? I mean,
she was on a milk carton, but that wasn't her parents doing. Or, excuse me, that wasn't her father's doing. She was just missing.
They're like,
she probably just ran away.
Well, wow.
The girlfriend didn't like her. The girlfriend didn't like the daughter.
Ugh. This is like a whole story of just horrible adults.
Oh, it gets worse.
Every single adult in this story is shit.
Wasn't Elizabeth Smart like just a few miles from her house too, right?
Yeah, but like in the woods.
Yeah. But there's been others. It's so crazy because we've heard other stories where people have been held captive just a few miles from their house or
Yeah.
Anyway, so she was 2 miles away from her family home where her father was not actively like doing any kind of
He didn't care. He didn't care.
So some of the new freedoms included that Tanya could go alone into the local deli. However, at this point, she was now 24. She's been in captive.
God.
She's been in captive for 10 years. She hadn't been allowed to leave the house.
10 years.
10 years. He kidnapped her took her when she was 14. She's now 24. She's just now being allowed to leave the home and go. She's got to go to the deli and come straight back. She has curfews. He knows exactly where she is and what she's doing. Like, he's still heavily monitoring her. It's
what year is this?
I don't know the exact. It would be 2006 at this point. She wasn't allowed to have a phone or anything like that. Like, he would take her. She would go to the deli. Whatever, she could walk to the deli, she could come back, all that kind of stuff. But he knew the timelines of what she should be doing and where she should be at. Anyways, she's 24 at this point. She's been held hostage for 10 years. After being allowed to leave the home, she slowly began to realize that this relationship with him really wasn't normal, right? I mean, she kind of knew that before, but also in her mind, that's all she knew.
Right. Like, this is like Stockholm syndrome. Yeah. I
mean, he's the only person she's seen outside of his parents and maybe son.
He's feeding her, clothing her.
Yeah.
I think.
So she starts to realize that she needs to tell somebody, that she needs to try to find a way to get out.
Wow.
At the deli, Tanya would meet the people who would save her from this hell that she'd been living in.
Oh, thank you, deli people.
So Joe and Janet Sparico, that is how you said it, Sparico. Sorry, I just couldn't get it out. Sparico. They were the owners of the deli. So after 8 months of building trust between her and Joe, she felt safe enough to tell him what was happening to her, that she'd been being held captive and she was only allowed to come to the deli and go back, and that, she didn't feel like she was safe.
Oh my God.
Now, after Tanya revealed this and left, Joe actually didn't believe her because it sounds so crazy, right? Like, I've been held captive for 10 years. No one knows where, like, he just couldn't believe it. But he didn't want to assume that she was a liar. So he called his retired police officer's son, who was named Sean.
Oh my God. Thank you.
He tells him, hey, this woman came in. Her name is Tanya. Her last name is Cash. This is what she's saying. And basically Sean said, hey, Dad, don't tell me her last name is Cash. Like, is that her last name? And he was like, yes, that's her last name. And said that Sean basically turned white as a ghost and said, we thought she was dead.
Oh my God.
Sean knew exactly, because he had seen the case information about her when all of this was happening, when she originally went missing. But yeah, they hadn't heard anything in 10 years, and they just assumed that She was dead, mind you, 2 miles from her father's home. Same 2 miles. Anyways, at the age of 24, on March 21st, 2006, Tanya was released. She was finally rescued after a decade.
Did the police go to his house? Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
She would later describe realizing everything was truly over when she was sitting in the back of a police car waiting for her dad to pick her up. Now, this is about to piss you off.
Fuck her dad.
This is about to piss you off.
What?
While Tanya was initially happy to be reunited with her family, she became estranged from him very, very quickly. At this point, her father and girlfriend were married, so it was father and stepmother. Because despite her being underage at the time, and despite her being groomed, and despite her being 14, they believed that Tanya was responsible for what happened to her. They told her that she knew exactly what she was doing. They said that her story didn't add up to them and questioned why she hadn't left Thomas's house sooner. And this is a quote that she says, "I know I went willingly, but that doesn't excuse what happened to me. I tried with my dad," she said. "I tried so hard, and it breaks my heart every day." How do you look at your child?
This is the worst story.
How do you look at your child who's been missing for 10 years and say, you know what? It's your fault that you were held captive and raped every day. It's your fault. You knew what you were doing. She was 14. It doesn't even matter how old she was. Like, no one deserves that, first of all. Like, I just can't fathom as being a parent. Like, I'm not even a parent. I cannot imagine looking at my child that's been missing for 10 years and telling them, this is your fault. This is your doing.
I
feel like the line about why didn't you leave sooner is so like why people don't come forward a lot.
But it's also it's rape culture, right? Yeah. It's abuse culture. It's what, I mean, I was asked, what was I wearing?
Yeah.
Like, I was raped. Okay, well, what were you wearing?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I was wearing sweats. Are you telling me that it's my clothes? Like, why are we always blaming the person? And she was a child. He was 24 years older than her.
Yeah.
Her home life was so bad. She was confiding in a man who was 24 years older than her and thought that he would offer her a better life. And he immediately turned around and physically assaulted her and raped her. She was in a lose-lose situation.
Yeah. Yep.
Fuck that guy.
Yep. But it's that typical blame the victim, not the person that was doing it.
Always.
And it's really sad.
He could have been a future Olympian. I'm sorry. That was a little Brock Turner reference.
Boys being boys. However, after escaping, now, I will say, she did try to leave several times. She did try to get away. So for them to also say that just really pissed me off, because she really did.
Her life was threatened.
Her family's life was threatened. She stayed because he was threatening to kill these people. Her
father, who didn't give a shit about her.
Yeah. So, however, after escaping, Tanya reconciled with her mother, Sherry, who supported her in many different ways. She helped me get my driver's license. She helped me get into college. She helped me get my GED. She took me shopping to get clothes. My mom was a big supporter. So she was able to reconnect with her mother, who was just glad to have her baby back, right? Like,
where was she during the beginning time?
The parents had gotten a divorce, and he had gotten custody because he was more financially stable and stuff at the time. It wasn't that she was a bad person or anything.
Do you even have a room over there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's not that she was a bad person. It's just they determined he would be a better fit to take care of her at that time.
Oh, I bet she regrets it.
Okay, so if that didn't piss you off.
Oh my God, it did. I'm fired.
This is about to.
Oh my God.
Really piss you. If you had to guess how many years in prison would you say that you think Thomas would have received based on the facts that you currently know?
Oh my God, just because you've asked that question, I'm going to say 6 months.
I think I would have had an aneurysm when I was doing the story if they gave him 6 months. But close. He was only sentenced to 5 to 15 years with the following charges: aggravated indecent assault, statutory sexual assault, 2 counts of indecent assault, 3 counts of involuntary deviant sexual intercourse, endangering the welfare of a child, interference of custody of a child, and corruption of a minor. All of that, held her captive for 10 years, and you only get 5 more years in prison than what you kept her in a prison. He was not charged with kidnapping because technically they said she went with him willingly. She left her house willingly.
Except she kept trying to escape.
But she initially left willingly.
Oh my God, but he kept her. But it doesn't matter. Consent. Consent is consent.
I understand that. I'm not the one that was in charge here. I'm just telling you that he was not charged with the kidnapping. Not that it probably would have made a big difference because they were only going to give him 5. Now they did try to give him, at one point they were looking at life, but somehow his attorney got it down to 15 years. Now, before his sentencing.
I hate your story so much. I'm so mad. I'm like mad in my bones. These people, every adult, except for the deli people.
And her mother. Her mother helped her.
And her mother. But why wasn't her mother looking for her?
I don't know where her mother lived at the time. She may have been looking for her. I just know that she didn't live in the area. They had no idea where she was, right? Like, the mother didn't know that she was 2 miles down the street. I just feel, I don't know. The father in the situation pisses. She didn't even know the daughter was missing for at least 4 days because he didn't bother reporting it for 4 days. So who knows when he told her that the daughter was missing. You know what I mean?
These fucking adults are just, okay. All right.
So before his sentencing, Tanya read a victim impact statement. She said, "You took my innocence, my childhood. You made me think my family didn't want me or love me, that no one cared or loved me but you." Now she's 25 at the time of this statement. She said, "For 10 years, you controlled me." Thomas interrupted her to say, "I'm sorry." But after silencing Thomas, Tanya said that she was no longer his puppet and had completed her GED and first semester of college. She said, "I plan to go places. The main thing I want to do is help protect children and women from men like you." Thomas then addressed the court and he said, I'd like to say I'm sorry. I want Tanya to know how sorry I am." He ended his statement by recalling a time when he said Tanya told him, "Thank you. If it wasn't for you, I'd be dead or on the streets." Judge John Zotola replied, "I think you're giving yourself too much credit. You see yourself as different than the rest of the world sees you." Mind you, he says this, but then only gives the man 15 years. He kidnapped, I don't care what they say, he kidnapped a minor, groomed her, kidnapped her, intentionally had her looks changed, held her captive, basically starved her, raped her, made her journal it.
If that isn't kidnapping, then why are any human traffickers committing a crime? Because sometimes those kids walk right out of that house on their own and they are taken by whoever it is that they were talking to. Is that not kidnapping?
My problem with this is that he did all of these things to her. Literally journals filled with in detail with the things he was doing to her.
So he could brag.
Man, you get more prison sentence time for having marijuana on you than this man was getting for kidnapping.
Speaking of, go raping. Texas, whatever.
It's insane to me that this man only got 15 years. He was released from prison in 2022, and upon his release, he moved back into the exact same house where he held Tanya captive and still lives there to this day. He did have to register as a sex offender. Tanya has said that she lives 15 minutes away from him and often fears running into him. She said, "I don't want to look into the eyes of the man who did such horrible, horrendous things to me. I hope that he lives in that house for the rest of his life. I hope he rots in that house." Now, Judith, the hairstylist and friend of Thomas, also pled guilty to statutory sexual assault, involuntary deviant sexual intercourse, indecent assault, and corruption of a minor. She was sentenced to 6 to 23 months in prison. So where is Tanya now? She's actually doing really good. Since her escape, she has attempted to sue numerous government agencies for failing her, including the police and the school board. All of those cases were dismissed, however. In interviews, Tanya has said that she has ongoing physical and psychological trauma from her time in captivity. She had to get a hysterectomy and temporarily use a colostomy bag as a result of the rampant sexual abuse she suffered. Again, he only got 15 years. She also suffers from back pain because she didn't grow properly, chronic migraines, and frequent nightmares. However, she has written a New York Times bestseller book titled Memoir of a Milk Carton Kid, the Tanya Nicole Cash Story. Tanya's father and stepmother sued her over claims made in her book, saying that the statements in her book defamed and harmed them, that she made them look like bad people, that she lied about the type of people they were. Mind you, they're the same people that said, you did this to yourself. You deserved it.
Walks like a duck. Talks like a duck.
So she wrote about her life before, during, and after the 10 years she was held captive. In her book, she talks about the turbulent childhood and how it made her easy prey for Thomas, who was serving prison time at the time the book came out. She says, if my father would have paid attention and been a father to me, this never would have happened to me. Which I think is a pretty powerful statement, and I think the father should feel like a piece of shit.
But he doesn't. That would require some sort of empathy, and he doesn't have that apparently.
There is a Lifetime movie that was made about her story called The Girl Locked Upstairs, the Tanya Cash Story. Elizabeth Smart served as the executive producer on it.
Oh, wow.
They're actually very close. They do a lot of interviews because their stories are so similar. They do a lot of educational things together. So she said, Elizabeth contacted Tanya about sharing her story in a movie, which led to phone calls, Zoom calls. They met in person.
Where was Elizabeth Smart kept? I'm thinking of someone else.
I think Elizabeth Smart was kept in a house.
She was kept in a house.
Less than half a mile down. I mean, I don't know the exact, but I'm pretty sure it was
Who was the one that was kept in the encampment from Utah?
Oh, the one that was presented like a wife?
There was a wife there. And he was like a homeless dude who came in through her window.
I don't remember. I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember her name.
I don't have my phone.
But she was, I think in the story you're talking about, she was kidnapped and the guy was trying to present her as his wife, and they would go out in public.
Yes. She came to talk at South Shore for that women's conference years ago.
I don't know.
God. Why can't I remember her name? Super famous.
Oh, that is Elizabeth Smart.
That's the one? Salt Lake City? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so they were in a homeless a campsite. Yeah. In the woods. Yeah. But it wasn't far.
Yeah. It wasn't far, but
the only reason they got in was because her mom burned a little bit of dinner. And so there was a window by the stairs that she kept open to air out the house. And they just so happened to go by that house that night. And she left it. She didn't close it and lock it. And it was this little window. That's crazy.
JC Dugard was the one she was kept for 18 years in a backyard near her home.
That's it. In the back, not an outhouse, in a container, right?
Amanda Berry and the Michelle Knight and Gina, they were only a few miles away as well.
Oh my God.
There's been several cases where children have been taken and kept close to home. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. I'm so sorry.
So sorry.
No. Tanya said in an interview, she said, I have always wanted to meet Elizabeth, knowing that we went through something similar. I've always looked up to her. Tanya described working with Elizabeth Smart on the film as life-changing. She said it was wonderful. She's so kind, so gracious, down to earth, such a sweet, sweet soul. Tanya says that she hopes the film helps viewers learn the signs of grooming, mind control, and brainwashing. She does a lot of speaking to parents about what to look for in regards to grooming. If your child's suddenly talking to someone that they shouldn't be, if they're suddenly receiving gifts, if they suddenly have money that you don't know where it came from, or extra phones, just little things that you may overlook, like they just suddenly have new clothes or things you didn't buy, or start spending a lot of time with a new person that they don't want to tell you about. But she has a lot of information about different signs that she's learned. Good. Okay.
What's the organization that she's working for? Is she working with Elizabeth Smart's organization, or she has her own?
I think she does, but I think she just speaks on her own.
Oh,
she's
okay.
like independent. Okay. But she does work very closely with Elizabeth.
And what's her full name now?
Tanya Nicole Cash McCrum.
McCrum?
McCrum.
Okay.
So she said she wants any woman struggling in any kind of abusive relationship, because she feels like a lot of it relates to domestic violence.
100%. And the gaslighting and just the manipulation, power and control. Power and control.
She said, I want them to walk away from the film saying, I have hope, I can get through this, and I can get out of this. So Tanya married a man named Carl McCrum in 2018. They met while working together at a Kmart in 2008. So 2 years after she escaped.
Wow.
Yeah. In an interview with ABC News, Tanya had mentioned that when she was around 18, she remembered crying about it because instead of going to prom or school, she was being held captive. She would say, I did think about it many times, and I sat there, I cried knowing I couldn't go. However, in June of 2013, Tanya got to experience the prom she never had. Carl had heard about a second chance prom on the radio the prior year, and it was going to be held for people who had a bad prom experience or never got to go for whatever reason. He called the radio station and told them Tanya's story. She had no idea. Now, the radio station immediately gave them tickets, but the prom ended up not being held that year because there wasn't enough participants. But then in 2013, he heard the announcement again, called and got tickets, and they got to go to a prom. He took her to her prom that she didn't get to go to. She said, I was so ecstatic to finally do something that I missed, and it felt like a hole inside of me was filled because it was something that was missing for all of those years. One of my dreams came true, and I got to go to the prom with the man that I love. Aww. Now, Carl would go on to surprise her. He brought her white roses because he knew that was her favorite. She said it was so wonderful and magical and awesome, and it meant the world to me. It really did. Carl would also state in interviews that it was meaningful to him because he loves helping her experience the things that she missed while being held captive. Ooh. I am so happy for her. Honestly, so happy, because after what she experienced, she deserves all of the love in the world. And this man is helping heal her, and her mom is helping her. And so she's just built this own little family and support system of her own. She's currently 44. She speaks at schools and with organizations about her experience and trying to help educate children and adults about the realities of grooming. One of the powerful quotes from a People magazine docuseries about Tanya that I think many survivors need to hear. She said, it was incredibly difficult to find myself again and become the person that I am today. She says, I will always be psychologically damaged, but it doesn't mean I am not strong. And I think I love that. I loved that quote. I love that.
That's a great quote.
Yeah.
That's such a good quote.
I really, just because you're going through something and you're healing and you're grieving and you're doing things in your own way, you're having bad days, it doesn't mean you aren't strong. I think when you listen to her speak, and you listen to some of the things she does with Elizabeth Smart, they're both so impactful. They're so educational. But again, I've linked to some of the things that she was interviewed in. I linked to the interview that Elizabeth Smart did with her. Like Elizabeth Smart is the one interviewing her.
Awesome.
It's not someone interviewing both of them.
Yeah.
And it's just really to see that she's really making something of life. She didn't give up.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is really, really great. And so at the end is, so if you know someone who is a victim of sexual assault or abuse, you can text strength to the crisis text line at 741-741, and that connects you to a certified crisis counselor. And again, Tanny has a ton of resources. Elizabeth Smart's organization has a ton of resources for people who need them. But she's so...
I'm glad that so many great things are happening for her. That's awesome. Way to go, Carl. Way to go.
I wanted to leave all the positive things for the end because the first part is real shitty.
I hate it.
I feel like her father should be in prison for just the fucking statements he's made. And then the fact that they sued her afterwards.
What pieces of shit. Just a lot of them. Just person after person in the story. Oh my God.
I am so thankful for the deli people who called. And thankfully
thank you for Sean. Way to go, Sean.
Yeah.
With that information, getting it done.
Joe and Janet, Sean.
Joe and Janet and Sean. Woo.
And then Sherry was her mom. And then Carl. Oh, Carl.
Woo.
First of all, when I saw Kmart, I felt so freaking old.
I was like, I remember Kmart.
Yes, the magic of Kmart.
Whatever, I'm older than her. So
anyways, but I truly love that Carl is doing this for her. But it is a very important reminder about how easy it is for someone to get inside a child's head who is feeling lost and feeling alone and feeling like
who is hurt.
Yeah. Who feels like she's not wanted.
Like she is going to find that feeling somewhere else. And she doesn't know that sexually that it's not appropriate.
Yeah. She was just, someone was finally giving her attention.
Yeah.
As she said, if my father had just been a father to me, this wouldn't have happened.
Did she ever say that he abused her?
The father?
Uh-huh.
She didn't go out and say that she was abused, but she said she had a very turbulent childhood, which... I mean, you can put two and two together.
I mean, yeah, because I'm wondering if I mean...
I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but she did say she had a very turbulent childhood. She was having a very hard time at home. She wasn't getting along with Joanne. Things were just, and so that's why she started talking to Thomas. Like that was the whole, all of that is what led to her friendship with Thomas, who was a security guard at a middle school.
And how did the middle school not catch on? How was he being allowed to take a child out of class?
I find it hard to believe, with as much as he was prepared and everything, that Tanya was the first one.
Oh yeah, you're right. He was a pro.
He prepped 4 weeks. He took her to this woman's house, had them dye her hair, change her haircut, kept her in a hidden room, only brought her out while everyone was asleep.
It'd be interesting to find out where he was prior to working at that school. Yeah. Maybe he was at a different school, and then Judith was a part of that, and there's like a whole string of like where,
I don't know.
Because he was 34.
38.
That was not his first time. Oh,
he may have just done other, not even like kidnapping, but who knows how many he inappropriately touched or something. It just never came forward because, again, who's going to believe a child?
But that's the thing. Like security guards in a junior high and an elementary school, that's how they are. They're like, "What's up, man? We're here," because they don't want to. They kind of come across as like, "Hey, we're don't be afraid of us. Like, come to us if there's something wrong. We're supposed to be the person that you can talk to." Mm-hmm. And I mean, I can just think of the security guard at the kids' elementary school, like how great he was. I don't know the security guard in the middle school, but like if it were a teacher or any other school official, it's like that's the personality you're supposed to have to work with kids. Like
I will say that again, she did try to sue Thomas when she was trying to sue the school district and the school personnel and all of that. The guidance counselor, she tried to sue the guidance counselor, the superintendent, of course, Thomas, his parents, some law enforcement officials, but they basically dismissed it, saying that too much time passed or whatever. And she said, well, I didn't sue earlier because I was too young and naive and also being held captive.
So she can start advocating for a reversal of the statutory laws.
She does a lot. She does a lot of campaigning for different things, not just that.
Like that would be the what is that called? Not statutory. I'll think of it, where there's like, there's no rule on time like they did in New York.
Yeah.
They got rid of those laws.
Yeah, they basically said that she forwent her right to relief because she waited too long to assert her rights. She was traumatized.
She was a child. She was a child and didn't know.
Yeah, and they're talking about when she got out at 24. She should have, like, if she wanted, she should have done it then. But
statute of limitations. That's the word.
Oh, yeah.
The statute of limitations. There should be no statute of limitations on someone who is abusing a child. There should be zero statute of limitations. That's what New York did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
sorry.
That's all right. I don't even know what to say right now.
I'm sure I could look up more information about the father, but just honestly, he sounded like such a piece of shit. I just didn't want to waste time on him. I wanted to focus on what happened to her and then what's come from it. The positive.
Yeah. She's awesome.
Yeah. She's strong. She's awesome. She's helping other families. Book. Yes. And there's, in the show notes, there's a link to, again, that interview with Elizabeth Smart. It's the YouTube one. There's a couple of articles where she was interviewed, obviously when she's older, and those are really, really good. And then, again, her book. So I'm sorry, guys.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, you should be. No. You know who should be sorry? Fucking Thomas.
But he's not.
But he's not. And her father. But he's not. And Judith. But she's not. Anyway, I don't know what I got next week. It's probably going to be awful. That's just how true crime is, I guess. It's hard when we talk about kids because obviously as a mother, I'm thinking of my own and then thinking like, man, thinking of my own childhood, how I totally get where Tanya was. Like, I get that feeling of just like, who's going to pay who likes me right now? Because like, I want someone to like bullied,
me. So right. She had nowhere.
She was like, I want someone to like me. And then there was this guy who saw she was being bullied and pretended to like her.
We talked about, you asked about the father campaigning and all that stuff. Police did say that there was a lot of friction and communication gaps during those early search efforts for her, which probably prevented them from finding her. Because honestly, if, I don't know, 4 days, you wait 4 days, then you're not communicating with the police, you're creating fiction.
I'm sorry.
I just can't get over how.
But the police had to have gone to the school, asked questions. Someone had to have said, hey, she talks to the security guard a lot.
If no one was paying attention to her, right? She had no friends. They were just bullying her.
But the teachers, some school official, hey, you know what? One teacher who's saying this guy kept taking her out of class.
I think that's why she was trying to sue them, right?
Right.
But again, of course claimed she waited too long.
If nobody said anything, the cops, did they show up? Did anybody say anything? No. Like every single adult at that school, shame on them. Shame on them. Because they should have said something. See something, say something. That man is taking a young child out of class. Why? He's the security guard. He's not another teacher. He's not a school official. He's just a security guard. He has no business taking a child out of class unless it's to arrest them. And somebody had to have noticed that. And then he probably would have been questioned. He probably bragged to somebody about that fucking journal.
Well, she did say that is why she had to keep those journals, because he wanted to brag to his friends and coworkers.
Coworkers.
Okay, well, now that I've depressed everybody.
Yeah, you totally did.
Sorry, guys.
I'm so mad. I'm like, ugh. Okay, I got to end the show. All right, everybody. This episode, more than any of them, makes me go, if you see something,
please say something.
Please. My God. And please be kind to one another. Thank you. We'll see you next week. Bye.